We've seen a lot of great titles so far, and to keep the flow going, we've got a Halo War demo queued up just for you. Dave and Justin are on the set with us. Let's see what this new RTS has to offer. Guys, I know Hillary definitely has some questions headed your way.
Great.
Hey, so why don't you just give me sort of an overview of what Halo Wars is and how it fits into the Halo universe?
So the big passion we had at Ensemble was to bring RTS gameplay over to the consoles. You know, they're hugely fun on the PC. They haven't really ever been done successfully on the consoles. We wanted to bring that over, show people how much fun that game can be. Halo was a perfect match for that. It's a huge IP. Everybody loves it. Everybody on the consoles, 360, they know that IP. And it gives us a great background and a great set of characters and units to build off of. And it's a great match for the game that we're making.
Great. And what are you going to be showing off for us today?
So we're going to walk you guys through a little bit of our control demo. Controls are a huge part of bringing a console game or an RTS game to the console, and so we spent a lot of time focusing on that, and it's probably one of the things we're most proud of, actually.
Great. And then where is the demo set in the game? Is this kind of in the beginning part of the game then that we're seeing?
So we're actually going to be on one of our Forerunner-inspired planets from our campaign. We're not quite allowed to talk about which planet it is yet, but there's a lot of Forerunner architecture that you'll see around, and then you'll meet some Covenant bad guys too.
Sounds pretty good. And what are the chances that you're going to be able to play as a Covenant in this game?
Very good. In fact, just this week we announced that the Covenant are fully playable in Skirmish as a true Civ. You can play good guys, or if you want to go that way, you can play evil too.
Sounds good. Well, why don't we go ahead and kick off the demo, and we'll take a look at it.
Okay, so Justin's going to kick off the demo here. One of the things that's really important in a game like Halo Wars is army selection.
Right.
We spent a lot of time on that, getting it to be very simple and very straightforward. As the demo starts up, you'll see one of the most iconic Halo units, the Warthog. We've shown that off before. It's got to be bouncing around. It's got to be fun to drive. It's also got to be pretty easy to select. So Justin's going to move the crosshair over the Warthog here. You see the A button pop up on top of the crosshair. That means you can press A and select it. Pretty straightforward. If you press and hold A, you get sort of a paintbrush type thing, and every unit that paintbrush touches will be selected. It's great for selecting guys in this part of the screen versus that part of the screen. Justin can show you how fun it is to drive the Warthogs around as we move over to our base. The base, if you're familiar with our Age of Empires games from the PC, it's a lot like that. It's a little bit boiled down for the console. We wanted to streamline things and keep it simple and still have all those investment type decisions that we had in our economic game and whatnot, but it's simplified and streamlined for the console. We can show off some of the cool base building animations here as we bring up the circle menu. We can talk about that in a little bit, but Justin's going to crank out a barracks. So this is the tip of the UNSC base. Fictionally speaking, the UNSC is supported by the Spirit of Fire, kind of a sister ship to the Pillar of Autumn from the Halo games. It's orbiting overhead, and it sends down colony pods. It's a repurposed colony ship, actually. And most of the base is underground, so we see the tip of it here. They construct the building, and kind of like an aircraft carrier, it comes up from below. While that's finishing, we can go over and show off a little bit of the combat. It is a Halo game. We need to make all the fans happy. We're huge Halo fans too. So it has a lot of combat. You can see some of the cool Forerunner architecture that I mentioned here. There's some Sentinels flying by under the glass and whatnot. But as we go and meet some of these grunts here, combat is very straightforward. You move by putting the crosshair on the ground, press X, same way for attack. You put the crosshair over somebody, press X, and they go and attack. One cool thing that we've added to the RTS games is the Y button attack, kind of a secondary thing. If you're familiar with an FPS, it's main gun versus tossing grenades,
Gotcha.
which is actually what the secondary ability for the Marines is. They can.
So let me ask you this real quick. Are there going to be new weapons or different types of weapons than we've seen before, since this is taking place 20 years before the Halo series?
Absolutely. Okay. One of the great things about the Halo IP is that as you've played through 3 first-person shooters, the Covenant are very well fleshed out.
Right.
There's lots of units there, and we're not showing all of them yet, but there's a lot of Covenant units. The UNSC, not so much. We've got the Spartan and Marines and Warthogs and Scorpions, maybe a Pelican, and that's about it. That's not enough for an RTS game.
Right.
So we've been working with Bungie really closely throughout the entire development, and they've given us a lot of creative freedom, and we've added a lot of really fun units to the game to flesh out what works for an RTS game. For example, there's some secondary units on the UNSC side that have melee damage, which is not something that you would necessarily think of initially in the Halo universe, but is really critical for a strategy game gameplay.
Great.
So Justin's back at the base now. Our barracks is finished, and this is our circle menu. It's probably the most important menu and UI elements in the game, and exemplifies how we've streamlined and boiled down the RTS game to its essentials. Same circle menu is used for training units. We have the units on the right, the upgrades are on the left, and we see the Marine there, the backbone of the UNSC forces. Next to that, we have the flamethrower. He's kind of the anti-infantry. He burns up organic things really well.
Who doesn't love a flamethrower in a game, right?
Exactly.
Kind of an essential.
Exactly, and then everybody's favorite got to think about the Spartan. So we say Spartan because we don't actually have Master Chief,
Right.
but this is set 20 years before the events of Halo 1. But we do have an army of Spartans. This is back when there were lots of Spartans alive, and so we have our team of Spartans here. Justin selected a couple of them, and the Spartan special ability is to jack enemy vehicles. You know, it's pretty much the coolest thing we can do is both
Right.
deal a blow to your enemy and take his vehicle and then use it on him. So we're going to go show that off here in a second. Justin's got some Scorpion tanks selected there too, and those Wraiths are coming in and attacking our allies, so we'll go up and take care of those with Spartan Jack. Most of the units have a special ability. The Spartans have probably one of the coolest ones. Certainly graphically it's pretty impressive. They leap up on top of there. He's going to beat the crap out of that Wraith tank. He'll rip the hatch off, yank out the elite driver, throw him aside, jump inside, and now that Wraith will be ours.
Pretty sure I never saw Master Chief doing a backflip before, so that's pretty good to see a Spartan do
Yeah,
that.
it's one of the things with our camera angle, and Halo is about showing off, or Halo Wars is about showing off large army combat, which Justin's going to get into here in a second. We have to exaggerate things.
Right.
Little tiny animation movements and whatnot for a camera that's pulled out so that you can see the whole army, they just don't register with people. So the backflip was one of the cool things one of our animators came up with, and when you see that, you know exactly what's going on, and it's very helpful. So we get into a larger combat here. You can see one of the things that's important about Halo Wars, both from a Halo standpoint and an ensemble standpoint, is it's bright and it's vivid. It's a place where Bruce Shelley always says the sun always shines. Apart from the massive genocide going on, it's a place maybe where you put a little cabin out there and you're good to go. Justin could probably finish these guys off with a carpet bomb. So the Spirit of Fire, in addition to seeding your base, also has powers that it can call down. Here we're calling in a short sword bombing run. So it'll come in, strafe the battlefield, and massive explosions are always fun. You see lots of physics and debris there.
Is that set on some kind of reset timer so that you can only use it in a certain amount of time?
Right.
Or?
Yeah, it has a cooldown. It also has an economic cost.
Okay.
It is a strategy game, and so we have a huge component for combat. Hey, it is Halo after all. That's where most of the gameplay is. But it is an ensemble game too, and strategy games have always been known for balancing military and economy. Economy is a huge part. We have simplified it down. We do have a single resource for both sides called supplies. You get supplies as a UNSC player by building supply pads. Then the Spirit of Fire sends albatrosses down. The fans will love those. And drops off supplies. But to kind of get at that strategy aspect, you can invest in the economy throughout the game. The earlier builds of Halo Wars, we struggled because we couldn't get enough economy in the game. It always kept running out in the first couple of minutes. Even though our games are only 15 minutes long, as we did shorten it for the console gamer, we do want the economy to play a part throughout the entire game. So akin to training lots of villagers in an Age of Empires game, you do go back in and reinvest in economy and upgrade your supply pads and upgrade your reactors and things like that.
Now, I hate to interrupt because we're kind of short on time, but is there anything else detrimental that we should see that you have to show us?
We can enact some cool explosions here. One of the other powers
Sounds good to me.
we have is the Mac Blast. So all the Halo fans will understand the mass accelerated cannons, and those can unleash some pretty massive destruction.
Nice.
One of the cool things about the Mac Blast is it's more like a sniper rifle versus the carpet bomb, which is more like a grenade. But again, going back to that strategy aspect, each of those requires some investment to make really good. Justin just popped off 3 Mac Blasts in a row. That's a very upgraded Mac Blast. Initially, you just get 1. Yeah.
Awesome. Well,
Pretty
Hillary,
impressive.
anything else?
Gotta love those explosions. Yeah, so one of my big questions was, are we gonna see Covenant forces that we haven't seen before?
Covenant, yes, absolutely. We have invented several new units for the Covenant. We're not actually talking about them quite yet. I think we'll be rolling those out in the next few months.
Sounds good.
All right. Guys, I gotta cut you off.
Okay, great.
It kills me to do so because everything looks really good. Really cool. Thanks so much for joining us. Guys, that's Halo Wars at E3 2008. We will be back with more excellent gaming for you very soon.
Will be.